happening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam. This is Vancity Audi. Please forgive my really squinty eyes. I lost my sunglasses. I can barely see out here. So bear with me. I am looking at you though, I swear. We're back out at Mission Raceway for one of the final testing tunes of the year. And I am out again with my B8 S4. If you are a subscriber, you may have seen the last time out with this bad boy. I finally ran a 10-second run. Finally, a 10.9 at 124 miles per hour. I have a goal today, and that is to go even quicker. We've changed a couple more things. This is as far as I am taking this car. This was my ultimate intention when I purchased this vehicle. Basically a full bolt-on build with weight reduction. That's all it is. It's a very, very simple build, but we have played very, very close attention to how the car works, slight things here and there that we've tweaked to make sure we're getting the most out of it. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough of what we've changed since last time. We'll get out there and we'll start drag racing. The first change is this. I have removed my Kirky aluminum racing seat out of my RS3 and swapped it directly into the B8 S4. For those of you that are interested, the rails are exactly the same. So it was a direct plug and play. You gotta make sure that your seat belt is attached to your seat itself. And then this one, Kyle had to make a neat little nut here that goes onto the end of this so the actual seat belt can connect. But that's probably gonna save me 50 pounds alone with that modification, running this 15-pound aluminum racing seat rather than my OEM one. The second difference is this. I'm running a blend of MS 109 racing fuel mixed with E100 for a blend of E45, which I have named the Boogie Juice. We're gonna see if we can make more timing with this much more octane rather than my normal blend of E85 blended with our Chevron 94. So we've got about a 50-pound weight savings using that aluminum racing seat, and we have much higher octane fuel. To be completely honest with you guys, I have no idea whether that racing fuel blended with E100 is going to do anything for the performance of my vehicle. It's one of those rumors, one of those myths that I've heard a lot about, but I've never seen any actual frigging evidence. So I'm running it to see what I can do by looking at my logs to see if the timing advances more than it normally would. I feel like I'm hitting about 30.5, 31 degrees of peak timing throughout the gears on my E85 blend with our local Chevron 94, which is an ethanol-free fuel. I've been running, if you guys are aware, started at the E50, then the E45, then the E40, still having issues. So now I'm back up to E45. You may wonder, how the hell am I able to do that if you were having issues? Let me explain that to you right now. So I just got here, so this is cooling right now. I just drove, everything's super hot. I'm gonna be here for about 10 minutes before I get out there, doing the best I can to cool down the supercharger. But what I wanted to explain is underneath the supercharger, there is a fuel pressure sensor. That sensor was causing the frigging problem.
Here's a photo of the fuel pressure sensor itself located on the driver's side fuel rail, and here's an up-close photo of the part number in case you need to replace your sensor as well.
So the first thing we thought of doing was checking the logs. We did that and we noticed that the low pressure fuel pump wasn't keeping up the pressure that it used to. So we replaced that. Put in a brand new OEM pump. It definitely helped the situation, but I was still experiencing breakup. We tried new spark plugs. We tried shrinking the gap on the spark plugs. That didn't work either. I still felt like something was up with the fueling. So randomly, I ended up scanning the car and we saw a code that we have only seen once before, but it went away. So we weren't sure exactly what the cause of it was. It's an intermittent fuel pressure sensor problem. It sometimes doesn't work and it sometimes does. So my high pressure fuel pump was sometimes working perfectly, and the next run it said it was maxed out at 99.99% duty cycle. We just replaced that 20 minutes before I got here. Thank you so much to Kyle from Rider Performance. He snuck me in, we swapped that over, went and did a couple logs, and the car is running the best it ever has. I am so excited to get out there because I feel like it's actually finally properly sorted. The transmission's still a little finicky here and there, but for the motor, it feels good now, and I'm so excited to get out there. DA, I believe, is 1200 right now. It's about 22 degrees Celsius, so definitely warmer with a higher DA than when I was out here last time that ran that 10.9. But I'm hoping that the sun on that track, maybe some better track prep, maybe some more warmth in my tires, will be able to help me get a better launch and help me get a quicker ET. Let's get to drag racing and better that ET. First time down the track, let's see if we fix the problem. Let's see if this bad boy can hold together, launch well, and pull hard. Oh, yeah, boy! Felt pretty good. Yeah, that felt pretty good. It's a little sluggish off launch, almost like I had good grip for once. Hell yeah, baby! Best 60 foot ever, 156, and the best run I have ever accomplished of a 10.97 at 125.47. So even though the DA is higher, I am making more power. The car feels very healthy. If I can launch that well, get a nice crisp run, I may be able to go even quicker. I definitely couldn't tell you if I'm making the right decision or not right now, but I'm gonna step up my fuel cut launch by 200 RPM. I felt like that launch was a little sluggish because of the fact that I actually have traction now. I'm gonna do this, we'll see if it works to my benefit or it screws me over, but here we go, launching the 2200 RPM fuel cut for the next run. Another personal best, 10.97, but I think I can go quicker. I've upped the launch control to a 2200 RPM fuel cut launch. I've had a bit more time in the pits to cool down the car. The first one I basically got here and went, so my intake air temps were really quite high. I saw some ignition correction, even with the super fancy Boogie Juice in there. I did not notice any advanced timing from running higher octane fuel, so I don't know what that tells you. Another urban myth that we'll see is true or not is I've heard that when you first flash over to a new file with integrated engineering, your first run may not be as good. It needs some adaptation time, and that is the case with my Unitronic tuned RS3. So we'll see if the same thing happens now or if I'm able to go even quicker. Back in the lanes for run number 2. My pessimism is getting the best of me on this one. I've been sitting here for 2 hours. Someone broke down, there was oil along the track, so they had to clean it very thoroughly. The car is bone cold now, which isn't good for racing, just so you guys are aware. The tires are cold, everything's cold. This will be the first time I'm using this 2200 RPM fuel cut launch. We'll see if I got a little too much spice now. Short shifted, but it's still pulling. How the hell am I beating this guy? Yeah, boy, that felt okay. So I felt like I might have had a little more wheel spin on that one. Like I mentioned, the tires are cold. I've been sitting for a long ass time. But Draggy does show a 10.94. So even quicker than last time out. I am running out of time here at Mission Raceway. I'm gonna try to get one more run in. The DA keeps getting higher. That run was about at 1400 DA. So not too sure I'll be able to go much quicker, but I'm gonna give it my all. I was absolutely wrong. As I've mentioned before, I know my RS3 inside and out, but I've only had this B8 S4 for a little over a year, so I am still really learning this car. The best 60 foot I have had to date of a 154. I still ran a 10.95 at 124 though, so I'm stuck at that 10.9. We're on the backside of Mission Raceway Park for the final weigh-in. The lightest this car will ever be. I'm not gonna do any more weight reduction. You guys have seen it. I'll walk you through it again though and show you the final weight that we see in this B8 S4. In the back, we have my 11-pound Braille lithium racing battery. Everything's been removed from the trunk. We go around to the rear seats and everything has been removed as well, including the front passenger. And as of today, I have my 15-pound Kirky aluminum racing seat in, for a massive weight savings. All the door cards have been removed except for the driver's side, because if there's a case of an emergency, I want to be able to get out. What is the final weight we see in the B8 S4? 3,540 pounds. 3,540 pounds. That is almost 300 pounds lighter than when I first weighed the car when it was full weight earlier this year. Couple runs down and I thought I'd fill you guys in on how my Boogie Juice concoction is working for me. So far, so good, I guess. I can't justify the cost yet. This stuff is insanely expensive for me here in Vancouver, BC. It was $10 a liter. Yes, $10 a liter. So insanely expensive. And from my logs that I've seen on only the 2 runs I've done, it might need more time to adapt, but I haven't seen anything crazy that says it's worthwhile. I'm still seeing ignition correction in a couple cylinders, nothing major, but it's still there. Whereas previously in the year, when I was running a higher ethanol content blended with just pump gas, those corrections were gone. So not too sure. My peak ignition that I'm seeing, the peak timing I'm seeing, is still not surpassing the best timing I've ever seen before. So the highest I've seen in this car is 32 degrees, and it's only happened maybe 1 or 2 runs ever. Like I mentioned earlier, on average 30 and a half, 31 degrees peak timing is kind of what I'm seeing. So I've seen that in what, 1 gear in one of the runs today. So I'll try it one more time. I'm gonna get out there and see if I can do any better, see if there's some adaptation that took place over that first run using the 2200 RPM fuel cut launch, and we'll go from there. Fingers crossed, guys. I really, really would love to see a 10.8 today. Let's go, little baby B8 S4. Finish off on a strong note. I know you got it in you, buddy. Give me a 10.8, goddammit. Short shift. Damn it. It was a valiant effort. Usually it's short shifts when it detects too much wheel spin, I found. Proof yet again. I've already done this in other previous videos and I'm showing it again firsthand. My Draggy shows a 10.92. The quickest that I would have ever run. The actual time slip was 5/10 slower. I lied, 7/10 slower. I ran a 10.97 at 125.41. Draggy wrong yet again. That just goes to show once again why I don't consider Draggy records really records. Because each Draggy GPS device works differently. They run off GPS, not from one laser to another. So for the final run, I ran a 10.97 at 125.41 miles an hour. Well guys, if that's how we're wrapping up the season, that is one hell of a way to do it. 3 back-to-back-to-back 10.9s in my V8 S4. At the beginning of this year, I said to myself this thing was gonna be a 10-second car, and finally I can confidently say that. Yes, it has some interior pieces removed to get there, and 300 pounds of weight savings. The best full weight run that I did, I think, was an 11.1 at 124. So the mile per hour didn't really go up. At least today it didn't go up. I feel like if I had a much lower DA, this thing would probably hit 126. We'll never know, unless we get another race day in before the end of the year. But I'm super happy with the way it is. I did not go with a ported blower. I just wanted a simple, daily driven, bolt-on build that anyone could do, anyone could manage. No divorced cooling system, no ice chest, nothing like that. Just very simplistic tuning from Integrated Engineering, parts from Integrated Engineering, and parts from MercRacing. I think it worked like a hot damn. I had a ton of fun using it this season. I'm closing out like there might not be another race day, because there might not. We might be done. There are 2 more scheduled race days for the 2021 racing drag season here at Mission Raceway, but there's a lot of rain in the forecast, so I don't know whether that's gonna happen. So if this is the last time you guys see this on track, I hope you enjoyed my journey. 10.9 back-to-back-to-back here at Mission Raceway in my 2012 Audi S4. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.